Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to another advanced listening practice lesson. As always, if you are new to this, well, I guess I can't really say as always if you are new to this. If this is the first video you are watching from me, I recommend you go back and watch some of the previous videos, especially things like my series for beginners in grammar. Just go to the YouTube channel and you can find all of our older videos there, but that will help you get used to the sound of my voice, because in this series I speak at native or faster than native speed, just so you can enjoy learning with me and actually get ready to enjoy much more movies, or many more movies I should say, and conversations with people. So anyway, if you are ready to begin this lesson, let's get into it. Well, this one I know I'm going to ruffle a few feathers. To ruffle a few feathers means to make people annoyed or upset or angry, but this has to be done really for the benefit of learners everywhere. This is something I've been thinking about for a while, and I do speak with my private students about it. So my personal students know my specific kind of things that really irk me. IRK, to irk me. This just means to make me really annoyed or upset or angry, and I get very passionate about these things. So I thought I would make a video all about, maybe not all about, but focusing on 3 specific issues which I think about as far as learning for non-native speakers who are trying to learn how to speak English confidently. Now, because I focus on this so much, I'm not talking about, specifically learning linguistics, or if you want to actually study something at a higher academic level, like the etymology of words, so the history or other things like that, anything like that. I'm just focusing specifically on what people actually need to learn in order to speak fluent English confidently, because again, that's what I focus on. So I really want people to understand this, just beginning this video, because I think it's going to piss a few people off, and that really just means to make people angry. But I don't really mind. I'm actually here not to work for people that I guess teach things in a different way. I'm here to actually work for students and actually help people that want to learn. So anyway, understanding that, let's get into 3 things that I think are bullshit. And bullshit just means, they're like either a waste of time, or they're not true, or it's just something that you shouldn't be thinking about. So 3 things that I think are just actually bullshit about ESL. So this is ESL bullshit. Yay! All right, the first one, and this is something I have a big problem with about pronunciation, this is the International Phonetic Alphabet. Now, again, I don't have a problem with the International Phonetic Alphabet by itself, or if you want to learn pronunciation by learning a separate language that you can use in order to understand many different languages. If you are a linguist, again, if you're studying that, you're a graduate school student, or you really just like learning the pronunciation of many different sounds in many different languages, then feel free to study the International Phonetic Alphabet. But my bone to pick, this just means like my kind of the annoying point, or the thing that frustrates me, my bone to pick with the International Phonetic Alphabet is that it is not required in order to speak English confidently. So in order to even, reduce your accent, if you want to do that, to sound more like a native speaker, I know plenty of people who, they're native speakers and they've never heard of the International Phonetic Alphabet. They don't know the symbols for it. They don't know how to read it. So when people are learning pronunciation, they're often starting from their native language. Let's say I'm a Spanish speaker learning to speak English confidently. So I would be learning often in the classroom. I'm learning Spanish or learning English through Spanish. And then, to help me understand things, I have to learn the International Phonetic Alphabet or some of the symbols of it. And then I can move to English. Now, this is making it even more troublesome, more complicated, more difficult for people, because you're adding more steps to the process. So you have your own language, then trying to learn the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, such that you can go to fluent English after that. So I kind of like to think about this, and you can think about this for the rest of the video as well, these 3 points that I'll be making besides the International Phonetic Alphabet one. If a native speaker doesn't do this, if they don't know it, if they don't use it, and it's not necessary for them to speak confidently, you don't need it either. So if you are a learner and you're watching this and you're thinking, maybe I should learn the International Phonetic Alphabet, if you actually really want to just focus on pronunciation and sounds, again, the way I teach it is just through word blending and phonetically understanding the sounds of the words. So that's why I just focus on that and showing you phonetically how something works, even if it's not spelled exactly the right way. So when I would, be taking a word like that and then putting it next to train, I don't put like the phonetic sounds of it, because I'd have to teach you what those phonetic symbols mean in order for me to use that. So I would just say that train, that train. Now we remove the T because that's how we pronounce it in English to keep things nice and short and sweet and simple and easy to say. So that's why we blend the sounds of our words together. So you should, if you want to have a good pronunciation, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you should be focusing on learning things phonetically because you already understand the letters of the alphabet. And if you can read English, then you can learn pronunciation that way. So focusing on phonetic sounds and focusing on, the same way you would learn it, the way a native speaker would learn it. So just by learning how it sounds and then writing it phonetically or learning it phonetically that way. So if you are a learner and you're not interested in a higher degree where you're focusing on pronunciation to learn a whole bunch of different languages, then it's not necessary to learn the International Phonetic Alphabet. So I just think it's bullshit that people would, think you should have to learn something like that, because a lot of people do, and they are encouraging you to learn the phonetic alphabet such that you can learn English. If you just want to get to the English, then forget about the International Phonetic Alphabet. Go right to the English and start learning it the same way a native speaker would. The second thing that really pisses me off about, being able to learn is that people think they have to have an advanced degree in order to teach, or they are promoting the fact that they have an advanced degree as a way of showing that, I have an advanced degree, I have a master's or I have a doctorate in education, and so that means I'm a good teacher. Now, the problem is, we have seen, if you've been following my channel for a long time, is that most of the things that people learn in higher education about how to teach are exactly what you should not be doing if you want to become a confident speaker. So myself, I have only a bachelor's, and this is a bachelor's in philosophy. You can hear a little bit of this ringing right now. It was almost like, that's like from the heavens. They're saying yes, you need to listen to this man. Anyway, so I have a bachelor's in philosophy, and really the basic thing that taught me was that, if you're able to communicate things in a logical way, then people can understand them easily. So you don't have to worry about spending time learning from someone that's got an advanced degree such that they can teach you something in a basic way. The whole education system, and this isn't even just about education for language learning specifically, this is about education in general. The whole education system, for the most part, is really messed up. I mean, basically, we teach people a lot of things that, number one, they're not really going to learn. We try to teach them in a way that really isn't going to help them learn and help them use things confidently. And that's why we have so many people speaking specifically now about language education, that they're learning how to pass tests but not learning how to speak confidently. And all these people that are teaching are people that got advanced degrees. I have a degree in teaching, so it means I know how to teach. And wow, my students can pass some tests, but what happens when they try to speak? They can't. So if you're thinking about, wow, I'm going to learn from that teacher because they have an advanced degree, and again, I don't have a problem with wanting to get an advanced degree if that's what you want to do, but promoting that as something that says, wow, I actually know what I'm doing about teaching because I have an advanced degree, it's just not necessary to teach. Now, again, I'm not even saying that because I don't have an advanced degree. I actually thought about getting an advanced degree in education, but then, having just done my own education about it, reading and talking with people and actually being a teacher for, many years, becoming an English fluency guide after realizing that teaching is probably not the best way to help people learn. So I actually want to guide people in a certain way and show things, what to do, what not to do, the mistakes and pitfalls. So pitfalls are, like traps or problems that you might experience as you're learning. So all of these things are really great things that you learn as a person that's actually working in the field, working as a teacher, working as an educator, and working to get an advanced degree. It's kind of great for the people that have a degree or that just like being an academic, but it's not necessary for being able to speak confidently. I do not have a master's, I do not have a PhD, but I don't give a shit. Hey, that's fine. I mean, I do what I do because I've actually delivered results to my learners, and that's why they continue to learn with me. So that's another one of my ESL bullshit things. Again, I don't want to feel, make people feel bad if they have an advanced degree, but if you are a teacher and you have an advanced degree and you're using that as a way of saying well, I know how to teach, it's almost the same thing as, pretty much every time there's an election. So there's an election happening right now or coming up soon in America. And anytime there's a new person that comes into wants to try to be president or run for some particular office, you'll always hear news people say well, you're new. What do you know about politics? And it's well, hey, I mean, you guys have been fucking up this whole time. Like, it's time for actually, something new to come along. And so if you try to do the same thing everybody else is doing, you're going to get the same results. So you got all these new people that are trying to become teachers, and they think they need to get an advanced degree in order to help people. Really, that's just inside the education system. I do not have to be inside the education system because I am free to work directly with learners. I don't have to be inside that and, try to get a degree so that I can help people within a certain thing. I don't have to worry about any of that shit. I can go directly to people, work with them to develop a great system that helps them learn, and that's what I do. Anyway, so that's my second thing. If you have an advanced degree, that's great for you, but don't worry about using that as a way of communicating your ability to teach learners. If you can actually teach them, then you won't need to worry about having a degree. The last thing, this is a really big one, a very important one for me, the biggest of the ESL bullshit things for me, and this is that there are different learning styles. Now, I know people will... Oh no, Arya just woke up. Hopefully I can finish this video in just a second. But anyway... one of the biggest problems I hear or I have with people is saying like, well, like we've got to teach our children in this way because this child has a particular learning style. They like to, sing in order to learn music, or this child likes to, play in order to, learn this thing or whatever. I think this is all bullshit. I like to, obviously when I'm teaching people, I try to do lots of different things. Even when I was teaching in the classroom, I would do some singing and some dancing and other things like that. But what I really noticed, and this is not me just reading books or thinking about it, this is actually, as an educator, someone that's been doing it for a really long time, what I've noticed is that if you can actually just make something very clear and logical and not try to put in too many things at one time, and this means more than teaching more than one thing at a time, then this is what really makes things nice and easy and clear for people to understand, and that's what really gets them excited about learning. I like to think about it when, I guess a good example would be something like internet search. So if you're a person like I'm gonna search for something online, we don't really talk about it in general like, well, I like to search like through music, I like to search for something through this or whatever, like, and the reason we don't have this is because Google figured that shit out. Google knows how to have search, and obviously it's not perfect. Ideally you would just think like, I want a brown handbag, or I want a black baseball bat or something like that, and it would appear on the screen for you. But we're still not there, but we're getting pretty close. And the reason Google controls the whole market is because they figured that shit out. And it's the same thing with education. That's exactly what I'm doing with EnglishAnyone.com. And because all these other people are thinking about, well, I have to like teach it in this way, or we're going to teach it in this way, these are all just gimmicks. And the reason they're just using gimmicks is because they haven't just figured out what's the simple way to teach. All you have to do is just explain something to people, but make it obvious. And that way you don't have to explain a lot of things and use the person's native language in order to help them understand the language. So again, if I'm pissing some people off, hey, it's okay. I'm really here to work for the learners. I really want to help you out there. So forget about the International Phonetic Alphabet. Forget about, does my teacher have a degree or not? You want to figure out if the person that's teaching you, helping you learn, whether it's me or somebody else, it doesn't matter. But if that person can, number one, speak for themselves in another language, but also can they give you the results you want? So whatever that is, they should be able to deliver that result, and it should be something you can understand. If you're actually making progress with that person or me or whoever it is, then continue learning with that. But this business about learning styles, like as we grow and as we continue to do the things we're doing with English Anyone, we're going to make that whole thing disappear about different learning styles, especially for language learning, because we're just making it very simple and obvious for people to learn. And once you do that, then all of this, like, well, I learn this way and I learn that way, like all of that just, it finally becomes something people realize as a gimmicky way of learning. Not to say it's necessarily bad, but again, it's just one of those things that it isn't required. If you can just make it logical for your brain, and every human basically has the same brain functionality anyway, we all like search in the same way, so it makes it seem logical that we will all like be learning in basically the same way too. If you disagree, feel free. You can comment down in the comments below. Feel free to dislike this video, but if you do agree, like this video and do share it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video as soon as this gets over 10,000 views. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye. To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.